with Sheriff Lunsford, our Attorney General Baldwin, and Assistant Attorney General Dennis Brooks. We wanted to provide some information on a recent success in arresting individuals that were involved in the distribution of methamphetamine in Elizabethton and Carter County. As a result of investigations that began about a year ago, 44 individuals were indicted by a special called Carter County grand jury after presentment of cases by the investigators of the Carter County Sheriff's Office and Elizabethton Police Department's Joint Drug Enforcement Unit. After a 2-day joint arrest operation that began early last week, all but a few of these individuals have been arrested. Sheriff Lunsford will provide us with some further information on that here in just a second. Of course, this investigation and operation could not have been possible without the great efforts and hard work of our drug unit's investigators. Other important factors to the success of this operation and investigation are the members of the community passing their tips to us. They also passed these tips to officers and deputies working out on the road. They also gained information by doing their work at the street level. Cooperation between other agencies has also been an important tool. Drug unit investigators have developed great relationships with their peers and surrounding local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. We are tired of the availability of methamphetamine in our community, and we are trying to do our part to disrupt the supply. The effort has not ended here. The investigations are continuing. We have set a new standard on how we will go after drug dealers. Now, after the sheriff speaks, General Baldwin will also have comments.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Approximately three years ago, myself and Chief Shaw entered into a partnership in our drug enforcement efforts in Carter County. We formed an anti-drug unit. This unit consists of 6 agents. This past week, those agents, other officers of the Carter County Sheriff's Office and the Elizabethton Police Department, conducted a roundup of 44 individuals who were indicted by a special called grand jury for conspiracy to distribute 300 grams or more of methamphetamine. This roundup also involved agents from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and U.S. Homeland Security. This investigation began in late 2018 and has been ongoing for approximately 1 year. It is part of an ongoing effort which is expected to yield additional conspiracy arrests in the upcoming months. This operation lasted 2 days and resulted in additional charges being placed. Overall, 51 individuals were arrested. Several $1,000s in cash, drugs, and vehicles were seized as well. And over the past couple of years, there have been approximately 140 federal indictments involving the distribution of drugs in Carter County. These 44 are not part of the Crystal Mountain operation recently released to the media, although we did play a role in that. But it is a state-level case which is unique for the 1st Judicial District, in that charges are conspiracy-related and amount to a Class A felony, which will result in much longer sentences when convicted. It is our intentions to disrupt their everyday habits and crimes to the point where these criminals are constantly looking over their shoulders. As you see, these individuals are not only involved in drug trafficking, but most of our property crime revolves around them. These efforts, along with target-based warrant service, has reduced the overall crime in this county, and burglaries are down 70% as a result. Now, we don't release every arrest that we make to the news media, and that's for a reason. But what we do is we put information that we gather in a computer system that we've developed here, which allows us to link them together. When you call me with information, you're a citizen, what you give me may not be enough for action, but what it does do, when combined with other tips, that we can build these cases. So please, I want you to continue to call, give me that information, tag numbers, names, addresses, and one day you'll look up and those people will be gone quietly. And when this happens, if you call me, I'll tell you what prison he or she is in. Jim?
Good afternoon. The District Attorney's Office in the First Judicial District, and everyone who's in law enforcement is very much aware that all property crimes, we're talking about the 90 percentile of property crimes and violent crimes, are drug related. Recognizing that fact, the District Attorney's Office has decided to refocus our efforts in prosecutions in a new way. The first thing that I have done, I have appointed Dennis Brooks to be the prosecutor in all 4 counties for all drug cases. And the reason for that is we're going to try to bring some uniformity to our prosecutions, and one person will be able to deal with all these problems better than we have been doing in the past. We feel like centrally locating everything is a better way to deal with the drug issue. The other thing we're doing is building upon the efforts of the Carter County Sheriff's Department and City of Elizabeth and the things that Chief Shaw and Sheriff Lunsford have done, and this new computer system they have developed. It became apparent to us, Mr. Brooks especially, who's in charge of this, that we could now do some conspiracy indictments. And that's what we did here recently. This one indictment or presentment involved 44 defendants, and that's a brand new thing we've never done before, and it has a lot more teeth to it. These are Class A felonies and should result in much more punishment being given to these defendants. We are after the drug dealers, and this is the way we're going to go after them. And I'll let Mr. Brooks give you some details about how we're going to do that. And I also want to say, especially Mr. Brooks, this was his brainchild, and so I'm real proud of his coming up with this type of indictment. Oh, excuse me.
Well, anything I came up with in this case couldn't have happened without the good drug agents of Carter County and Elizabeth and prodding me along. They've sort of challenged me to look at methamphetamine cases differently, and upon studying it and thinking about it, I thought it was in the best interest of our district to take a new approach. General Baldwin's tasked me with responsibility for prosecuting the felony drug cases in Carter, Washington, Unicoi, and Johnson counties. I hope to not only bring a uniformity to those prosecutions, but also a firm approach in keeping with our Tennessee law and our community's expectations. Methamphetamine is the king of our drugs right now. We hear a lot about opiates, but we recently went to a conference where the TBI showed their statistics on the positive lab results that they're getting for the different drugs. Methamphetamine's a very close second to marijuana now. 5 years ago, the amount of lab results they were getting that were positive for meth were a fifth of what they are now. Every year it's a steady progression, and it's on pace to eclipse all other drugs very shortly. Our district is no different than most of the rest of the state. When I started my job as a prosecutor 21 years ago, I didn't know what methamphetamine was. I'd never heard of it. I didn't see it on my dockets. Now it's the #1 thing on our dockets in every county. Every community is affected by it. Lives are being destroyed by it. And in consulting the Tennessee law, there are tools we can use to combat it. And they include some things that we've never used in our district, such as conspiracies to distribute over 300 grams of methamphetamine. Many of our cases, we believe we can put that in front of a jury for them to consider. We also have other tools, such as when one sells or possesses with intent to sell within a drug-free zone, as well as when they possess a weapon during the commission of those felonies. Those are all tools that either have not been used in our district or used very sparingly. And you can't say we're losing the war on drugs if we're not using all our weapons. Now, today's announcement on the 44 people charged in the conspiracy, of course, all of they are presumed innocent until proven guilty in court. And that's all I have, I think.
Any questions?
When you bring in the conspiracy angle of it, does that put a little more emphasis on your job? I know it has a little bit more teeth to it, but is there a little bit more risk involved in proving it?
It makes it harder. Instead of one sale to an undercover informant that's the subject of the trial, we're talking about a whole lot more stuff than that to prove a conspiracy. So it makes our job more difficult.
But it has much more teeth to it.
Yes, conspiring over a course of time to distribute over 300 grams is the same penalty in Tennessee law as if you actually sold it at one time. It's Class A felony on the level with second-degree murder or aggravated vehicular homicide. It's minimum 15 years prison time.
If I may add to that, what the part that's making this easier for all of us concerned is, as we shared with the Attorney General and his staff, is this computer system that we, of course, will not show you, but it allows us to put these dealers together, to link them together in a link analysis, and it presents a picture rather than piling up pages and pages and pages and pages of documents on a conspiracy case. We can show you the flow and who's dealing with who in a picture format, and it makes it very easy for us and juries and judges to follow, and that's going to help these conspiracy cases go forward, I think.
So this links together, like if similar names, similar addresses, similar descriptions of cars come up, it's able to link them all together?
It links everything together. We've been building this system for about 1.5 years, and the more information we put in it, the bigger and stronger and better it becomes. I can tell you this, we're tracking, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 drug dealers within this system. So, yes, we're going to be able to put people together with people and put weights on these individuals in these conspiracy cases, and they're going to go away for a long time.
So this 44 is hopefully just the first step.
Yes, sir. We have others pending presently.
I need to hold the full permit.
What we want to add is we now have, this system, most importantly, has a way to link tips together. So the information that's provided to the sheriff's deputy, or for the police officer, or for the SRO at the school, or anonymous tip through various different systems, that information is passed forward, that information is put into that system. So that helps. We've not had that system before. It would be pass a tip to different officers, different things. But now with the system in place to compile and output that useful information, our officers are able to take action on that, and we see the results.
www.sheriff.cc, and there is a link there to leave anonymous tips. You don't even have to call me.
How important is it, do you think, for the people on the ground to be able, when a tip comes in, everybody see it? You don't have to say, call around and make the calls to where everybody knows this, they see it automatically.
What we have analysts that sit and put this information into this system. As we go forward, we'll increase those numbers of analysts. As they input this information into this system, it provides us, again, a link, so we can link Ken Baldwin to Dexter Lunsford in that conspiracy to distribute those drugs. It allows us to do that in a very pictorial form, so you don't have to sort out tons of paperwork to do conspiracy cases. It makes it almost impossible without technology to do drug conspiracy cases.
Might want to add that our plan is to extend these types of systems to the other counties in the 1st District, and we will hopefully plan on bringing conspiracy charges in Washington, Johnson, and Unicoi counties as well. We're just getting started on this in the 1st District.
So eventually the 1st District will be able to get in on this, so if something happens in Johnson County, Washington County, Carter County, Unicoi County will know about it.
Correct.
That will be our plan, yes.
And by having a centralized prosecutor, sometimes that brings cases together that were not together before, because drug dealers don't know jurisdictional boundaries. The one that's in Carter County is in Washington County tomorrow, and vice versa. So having one person in charge, we can link things together more efficiently.
This took us, you gotta remember, it took a couple of years to put this system in place initially, and then a year and a half to build the system to the point it's at now. These things don't just happen overnight. And it's gotten to the point where we're now using these systems that we've been working over the past few years to implement. And it will, I think it will have an astonishing effect on the drug traffic in this area.
Did you say that all these suspects have been arrested, or all but a few?
All but 6, and we'll have those names. Attempts have been tried on them. We're able to locate them. We're going to need the public's help to locate them. But there's 6 individuals, and we'll provide that to you all, the names of those people.
With this new computer system in place and with these drug roundups happening, what type of message would you like to send to the drug dealers in this area?
You better move.
Either quit or move.
Quit or move, one of the two.
We know who you are, and we know what you're doing. I promise you we do. We're going to come and get you.
We're not after users, we're after the people who are selling this stuff and distributing it and bringing it in from out of state.
There's a lot of this meth today. It's you know, it's not made. People aren't making meth. Very rarely. It's cartel meth. It's coming from out of this country through California and other places, Atlanta, into Carter County. And we're very aware of who, what, when, how, where, and why.
You've got to realize that every house burglary, shoplifting cases in Walmart, people stealing your car, people breaking into your car, people forging checks, they're all doing this because they are addicted to drugs. And somebody is supplying these addicts with those drugs. And that's what's causing crime to be at the level it is in our district. They don't steal your lawnmower because they want your lawnmower. They want to steal your lawnmower to sell it so they can buy drugs.
Yeah, they're not going to mow a yard.
They're not going. They don't want your car. They want to sell it.
So as you were saying, this is coming in from other areas that's not being made here. Does that mean that you just have to be that much more on top of things and ahead of the technology to keep up with it?
You have to stay ahead of them. And we have some very, very capable agents here. And they have a very good working relationship with the federal agencies. And that's, again, where these federal indictments came into play in the last couple of years. In the past, the way you would go out and make a drug arrest, and you'd put it on the front page of the paper, and it would make me look good. And, we don't do that. We don't do that. I don't want people to know what we're doing on the drug roundups and the drug cases until we want people to know. We pick the time and place where those announcements are made. If you know what we're doing, the drug dealers know what we're doing. We don't want them to know that. It's being done. It's been done more effectively than it's ever been done. Those 140 approximate federal indictments over the past 2 years shows that. And now this is an attempt to do it at a state level. And with the cooperation of the district attorney's office, and they're all in, I think we're going to accomplish our goal.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Dexter?